and in spectacles, Act 2. At Rise, scene and situation are exactly the same as they were at the end of Act 1. The inspector remains at the door for a few moments looking at Sheila and Gerald. Then he comes forward, leaving the door open behind him. To Gerald. Well? You see? What did I tell you? What did you tell him? Inspector, I think Miss Birling ought to be excused any more of this questioning. She's nothing more to tell you. She's had a long, exciting and tiring day. We were celebrating our engagement, you know, and now she's obviously had about as much as she can stand. You heard her. He means I'm getting hysterical now. And are you? Probably. Well, I don't want to keep you here. I've no more questions to ask you. No, but you haven't finished asking questions, have you? No. You see? You see? Then I'm staying. Why should you? It's bound to be unpleasant and disturbing. And you think that young women should be protected against unpleasant and disturbing things? If possible, yes. Well, we know one young woman who wasn't, don't we? I suppose I asked for that. Be careful that you don't ask for any more, Gerald. I only meant to say to you, why stay when you'll hate it? It can't be any worse for me than it has been, and it might be better. I see. What do you see? You've been through it, and now you want to see somebody else put through it. So that's what you think I'm really like? I'm glad I realised it in time, Gerald. No, I didn't mean... Yes, you did. And if you really loved me, you couldn't have said that. You listened to that nice story about me. I got that girl sacked from Millwoods. And now you've made up your mind I must obviously be a selfish, vindictive creature. I neither said that nor suggested it. Then why say that I want to stay and see somebody else put through it? That's not what I meant at all. All right then, I'm sorry. Yes, but you don't believe me. And this is just the wrong time not to believe me. Allow me, Miss Birling. I can tell you why Miss Birling wants to stay on, and why she thinks it might be better for her if she did. A girl died tonight. A pretty lively sort of girl who never did anybody any harm. But she died in misery and agony, hating life. Oh, please don't, please. I know, and I can't stop thinking about it. Now, Miss Birling has just been made to understand what she did to this girl. She feels responsible. And if she leaves now and doesn't hear any more, she'll feel she's entirely to blame. She'll be alone with her responsibility the rest of tonight and tomorrow and the next night. That's it. And I know I'm to blame. I'm desperately sorry. But I can't believe, I won't believe it's my fault that in the end she committed suicide. That would be too horrible. You see, we have to share something. If there's nothing else, we have to share our guilt. Yes, that's true, you know. I don't understand about you. There's no reason that you should. He regards her calmly while she stares at him wonderingly and dubiously. Now Mrs. Birling enters, briskly and self-confidently, quite out of key with the little scene that has just passed. Sheila feels this at once. Good evening, Inspector. Good evening, madam. I'm Mrs. Birling, you know. My husband has just explained why you're here, and while we'd be glad to tell you anything you want to know, I don't think we can be much help. Oh, Mother, please. Why? What's the matter, Sheila? I know it sounds silly. What does? You see, I just feel like you're beginning all wrong, and I'm afraid you'll say something or do something that you'll be sorry for afterwards. I don't know what you're talking about, Sheila. We all started out like that, so confident, so pleased with ourselves, until he began asking us questions. You seem to have made quite an impression on this child, Inspector. We often do on the young ones. They're more impressionable. You're looking tired, dear. I think you ought to go to bed. And forget about this absurd business. You'll feel better in the morning. Mother, I couldn't possibly go. Nothing could be worse for me. We've settled all that. I'm staying here until I know why that girl killed herself. Nothing but morbid curiosity. No, it isn't. Please don't contradict me like that. And in any case, I don't suppose we can understand for a moment why the girl committed suicide. Girls of that class. Mother, don't. Please don't. For your own sake, as well as ours, you mustn't. Mustn't? What? Really, Sheila? You mustn't try and build up a kind of wall between us and that girl. If you do, the inspector will just break it down, and it'll be all the worse when he does. I don't understand you. Do you? Yes, and she's right. I beg your pardon. I said yes. I do understand her. And she's right. That, I consider, is a trifle impertinent, Inspector. Now what is it, Sheila? I don't know. Perhaps it's because impertinent is such a silly word. In any case, but Mother, do stop before it's too late. If you mean the inspector will take offence. No, I never take offence. I'm glad to hear it, though I must add, it seems to me, we have more reason for taking offence. let's leave offence out of it, shall we?
I think we'd better.
So do I. I'm talking to the inspector now, if you don't mind. I realise that you may have to conduct some sort of inquiry, but I must say that so far you seem to be conducting it in a rather peculiar and offensive manner. You know, of course, that my husband was Lord Mayor only 2 years ago, and he's still a magistrate. Mrs. Birling, the inspector knows all that, and I don't think it's a very good idea to remind him. It's crazy! Stop it, please, Mother! Now, what's that about Mr. Birling? He's coming back in a moment. He's just talking to my son Eric, who seems to be in an excitable, silly mood. What's the matter with him? Eric! Oh, I'm afraid he may have had rather too much to drink tonight. We were having a little celebration here. Oh, isn't he used to drinking? No, of course not. He's only a boy. No, he's a young man, and some men drink far too much.